Welcome back to our passage crossing the Caribbean Sea to Guatemala. We experienced the biggest sea conditions we've ever faced, testing both us and our boat. The conditions are not our only challenge, because we also have to sail incognito with no AIS, no lights and no broadcasting, because we are crossing a notorious stretch of water in Central America, Pirate Alley coast of Nicaragua. And just when we think the worst part of it is over, we arrive at an unfamiliar bay in total darkness and have to drop anchor, which we try and never do. This is one of the most intense passages we have ever sailed. We are Steve, Annette and Gus, and this is our beautiful Venus Ketch. We're currently sailing to Guatemala for a much needed refit on Cordelia. We've lived on her for over 18 years and she is desperately in need of a makeover. Sailing and living this life teaches us something every day, and during the next 3 to 4 days we experience seas like we've never sailed before, and also shows us how strong our boat is. Our camera equipment is not able to capture just how big the waves are, but believe me, it's pretty wild being on the precipice of a wave and then surfing down the other side. Well, I don't mind telling you, this is a little bit butt clenching. Steve's gone to have his sleep. And it's not the weather's picked up, but boy, these waves are massive. Doesn't matter how much I try and show you, you're not going to be able to see how big they are, but they're coming up the rear because we're downwind sailing, and they are higher than the boat, and that's with davits. I mean, higher than the davits. Wow. Hydrovane's doing okay. Every so often we have to correct it. That could just be us. First time that we've used it on this trip. Thank God we had it. Thank God. I can't remember being in seas like this when we crossed the Atlantic. I might be wrong. It could be like childbirth. One of those things that you forget quite quickly until you're in it again. We are a third of the way across now. 500 miles of a 1500 mile passage, or just over 1500 miles. I did it again. Davits. Davits are the two arms out the back of the boat where the lines come down, the ropes come down, and we lift the dinghy up. We don't lift the dinghy up on a passage like this. We always put it on the forward deck. Without professional equipment, it's so difficult to show you just how high and crazy these waves are. Unfortunately, whilst filming them out on deck, we managed to smash our 360 camera, which caused a malfunction in the SIM card, and we lost all of the footage of what we know would have shown to you how big they were. We're devastated because we really wanted to share that with you. As evening drew in, it was time for dinner, and whilst the seas had started to calm, I knew cooking food was going to be no easy feat.
It's very good you got a life jacket on.
Inside? Yeah.
Turkey curry for tea. It's a bit hot at the moment though.
This is one of the prepared meals that I did back in St Martin. Steve's still not eating particularly well, so just as well they're only small, but plenty enough for us. Slightly calmer weather takes us west for the next 4 days.
The shave. Particularly good one, but
Well, it's better than no shade.
better than no shave. Exactly. Hydrovane is working well. Haven't quite worked out how to course adjust it yet. I think you just turn the knob. But at the moment the course that we're on is fine. We're heading in the right direction. Well, you currently find us on the passage south of the Dominican Republic. The boat is currently being steered by the hydrovane because the autopilot has decided to play up a little bit. It's not completely dead, but anyway, we've got the hydrovane, so we've decided to use it. And 90% of the time, it's brilliant. And the other 10% is not. It just seems to lose its way a bit. And at the moment we can't really kind of find a rhyme or reason for it. So sometimes we'll be slapped by a big wave and that will cause it to lose grip. And we're downwind sailing. So the wind's behind us, pretty much dead downwind. We've just got the Genoa out with the spinnaker pole or pole down Genoa. And I think that's quite a hard point of sailing to steer on anyway, with a little rudder, with the little rudder that it has. So I think it's that. By the time you see this, we'll be tucked up with a taco in Guatemala. But if you've got any advice on how to use a hydrovane, leave it in the comments.
Okay, we look a mess. A right bloody mess. We've had the most awful last over 24 hours.
I think I look pretty good for an hour and a half sleep.
Well, the sea state started picking up quite a bit. Waves were absolutely enormous, and on top of that, the hydrovane just couldn't cope. Just couldn't cope with the waves. We think maybe perhaps it's being lifted kind of out of the water when we're on the top of a wave. And yeah, it's been absolutely horrendous. What it has meant is that Steve and I did hour-long shifts last night, but out in the cockpit. We did 2 or 3 of those. So yeah, so we're hand steering. It's still really pretty wild out there. But they reckon the winds are going to drop this afternoon, and yeah, should be down to apparently 1.5 metre waves, because what we've been experiencing is 2 metre waves.
Honest, that's what it said, 2 metres, 2 to 2.5, 2 to 2.25, so 2 to 2.25. That's not.
No.
That's not 2.25. We're also dodging through reefs and shoals south of Jamaica. So we had to be quite careful with our distance off with this sea state, and we don't know quite, well, I think some of the effect of this is the fact that the shoals go from 4,000 metres deep to 20 metres. So it has an effect and bounces everything around and makes it stand up, and I think anyway. A cup of tea, yeah?
I'm not making cups of tea in this weather or in these conditions. Although I could do with one. And I know that Steve could do with a bit of a sugar boost. Do you want bar of chocolate?
No. Thank you. It's in the morning. We do not eat chocolate in the morning.
I know, but a Mars a day helps you work, rest and play.
Well, we haven't got any Mars. You wouldn't,
No,
you wouldn't buy them. You wouldn't buy them. You were too mean.
But they were bloody expensive, that's why. Although
I bet they don't seem
they're
that
about £1.60 in the UK at the moment per bar.
£1.60?
£1.50, yeah.
I don't know. I bet they don't seem so dear now though, do they?
No, thinking about that.
But we have got Lion Bars and Twixes. But again, not in the morning. A cup of tea. So we're in the last third of the trip, and this is the bit where we've got to be more. The first 2/3 was wind and waves and weather. The last third is wind and waves and weather, but now we're approaching the coast of Nicaragua and Honduras. So we just got to be thinking about potential piracy. I think there's been one incident in January this year. So it's not every day somebody's getting Jack Sparrowed, but we are approaching that kind of area, so we're just going to stay well off. So at the moment we're here, and this is Honduras, Nicaragua, and we're heading down into Rio, and we're currently 200 miles off of land. Well, if you're a fishing boat pirate, that's a long way off to be out fishing. I've now changed our course slightly, so we're not going on a direct route, shortest route, which you'd normally do, shortest route into where we're going. We're going to go north, so we remain well offshore for as long as we can, so that we're not, I suppose, not an easy target. Somebody's got to be really determined to come that far out. It's just something else we've got to contend with. No, we do take it seriously, and it's not nice, but unfortunately when you live in a world where we haven't got a lot, but we've got a lot more than they have, sometimes people do horrible things. I've got a sort of plan in mind, and that's only from reading other people's stuff. If we see somebody that's out there, unfortunately you're treating everybody with suspicion, and it may well just be that some bloke's out here fishing, or these blokes are out here fishing and might come over because they want some fags, or not that we smoke anymore, but do you know what I mean? But if we saw somebody, we would try and make as best speed as possible away from that area, so that would be not necessarily putting more sail on, but starting the engine up and driving the boat reasonably away, just so that you're not bobbing around at 3 knots, you're doing 7 or 8 knots under engine.
We're going to put the engine on and we're going to start moving.
We'll play it by ear.
Why are we playing it by ear?
Well, because
either we are or we aren't. And I'm being serious now, okay? Either we are or we aren't.
Alright, well, if we see somebody that looks like they're out here in a little fishing launch, we'll put the engine on and start making a better speed than we are at the moment. At the moment we're doing 4 to 5 knots. So we can do better than that under engine, so we'll do that, even if we're doing that for a couple of hours, just to get away from this situation, so you're not making yourself an easy target, I suppose.
So what about any money or any drinks that we've got on board, or any valuables at all?
I think my view is that there's no point trying to be a hero. We're like 60 years old, and I ain't intending to fight people just to try and save a few quid. If somebody's that intent on robbing us, still pursued us when we've motored away, as long as they're not injuring us, let them have what little we've got.
What about the spear gun?
You don't get something out like that unless you're prepared to use it. Am I prepared to shoot somebody with a spear gun? Yes, I am, if they're threatening my life. But if they're not threatening my life, they're just being aggressive and wanting money and drink and fags, you can let them have it. We're more important. Me, you and Gus is more important.
Yeah, okay. And what are we doing about the AIS?
We've got 2 AIS systems on here, so I can turn one of them off. So I've got one that transmits our position and one that receives our position. So I can turn the one that transmits off, so we can see tankers and commercial stuff, but nobody can actually see us. So I'm going to turn that off. And for the next couple of nights, at night, we've got a sort of full moon, but we're going to run without the nav lights on, because then you're not visible for quite a distance.
Well, we're trying to be careful because of possible pirating, and I've been in bed for 3 or 4 minutes and Steve's called me because there's a boat out here that's not showing on AIS, but it has got lights. Steve's just gone out there now because they've not got AIS showing and we've not got
one out to the left.
No, we've got another one out to the left. Yeah?
You see that one out to the left, white light?
Yeah. Well, the one thing that we're not doing, which we said we were going to do, is put on the engine. So do you want me to put the switch and put the engine on?
We haven't got our nav lights on, so they can't actually easily see us. So they might be able to see a sail, but it's just weird that I should see two.
The thing is, as you said before, this is...
It is a fishing area.
Fishing area, yeah. Because we're only in 30 metres of water. I know you can only just see me, but we've decided they're just fishing boats. There's about 4 of them out there now surrounding us, but we definitely think they're fishing boats.
I've just woken up from my little morning nap and I've come outside and we haven't seen land for weeks. Actually, nearly 2 weeks. I knew it was there anyway because before I went to bed, I checked that in the 3 hours I was asleep we wouldn't hit anything, because I knew that this island was coming up. And there's an island in front of us in the distance called Guanaja. It's one of the Honduras Bay Islands. It's the first one. But we haven't seen that proper piece of land for 12 days. It's quite amazing. Quite amazing. And we're still motoring. But hopefully later on today the wind will pick up a bit and we can start sailing again. The night is dark and full of terror.
He's saying that every night, nearly.
Well, I did on the second night and it was true.
Well, yeah. God, that seems like a distant memory now, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Our ideal course at the moment is between 230 and 240. Basically, over in that direction, we've got the bottom of Belize and the reefs. Yeah. The bottom of that reef system. Change the sail over, change the angle. I've played with Hetty, but she's suffering from the fact that she's got a funny her port side isn't working properly. So I think once I've adjusted her, at some stage in the future she will be a lot happier, but at the moment she's still suffering from my fuckwittery.
It's our last day and I am super excited. Hopefully we should be in an anchorage by, I would say, mid-evening this evening. Just hope it's not too difficult because it's going to be dark and an anchorage that we don't know. The sea's pretty wild at the moment. I've tethered Gus into the cockpit at the moment. Hetty's doing a grand job again, keeping us on course. Oh, bloody idiots, why have we never used it before? We even thought about taking it off and selling it at one point. I'm hoping by now I would have sorted something out about the Insta360, which got smashed earlier on in the trip, in the middle of the trip, and we lost all the footage. It did film, but I don't know, for some reason or other the SD card's not being recognised and we've lost all of the footage, and it was the best footage. Isn't that always the case? Anyway, it's what it is. With a smashed 360, I don't think we'll be using it anymore until we can get it repaired, and I don't know that we'll be able to get it repaired in Guatemala, but we'll try. Anyway, it's a lovely day again, lovely day, and the wind's with us, which is brilliant. We're nearly there! We've got about 60 miles to go. Yee!
Half an hour to go, 3.5 miles thereabouts, lots of lightning. Day 14, we're knackered, but we're almost there. We get anchored up, put the telly on, have a cup of tea, a bit of cake. No, bedtime, knackered, but no, we made it. We're virtually there, virtually there.
We're just anchoring. Wow. 3.8 metres of water. We'll show you tomorrow morning, because even we don't know what it looks like here. Fine. Anyway, I need to concentrate because I'm going to have to reverse in a moment. So we're anchored up, just making a cup of tea. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, we'll have a quick cup of tea and then we will be putting our heads down until the morning. That's Steve just tidying the lines. Well, I'm going to say good night now, and thanks for staying with us, and we'll see you in the next episode in a couple of weeks. Ciao for now. And that's where we leave things for now, because in the next episode everything changes. We've just arrived in Guatemala and almost immediately the skies open up. 2 solid days of relentless rain. But hey, we're in the jungle. And just when we think the weather might ease up, we have to do something we've never done before. Put the boat aground. But trust me, what happens next is unlike any arrival in a new country we've ever experienced. An entrance so unforgettable we realise that the last 2 weeks sailing across the Caribbean Sea have been absolutely worth it. You won't want to miss it. I know that was an epic episode, but we didn't want to split the journey up any more than the 2 episodes so that you could keep up with us in relative real time. We'd like to say a massive thank you to all of our Patreon and Coffee supporters and all you viewers. And don't forget, if you've enjoyed the video, please give us a like and leave us a comment. It helps us tremendously. Thanks guys, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.